controversial new rule in California could change the future of the railroad industry in our state. Some say for the better, some say for the worse.
Yeah, the EPA will rule on whether California can ban the manufacture and use of diesel locomotives. Eyewitness News reporter Will Silverstein takes a closer look at the rule and who it will affect.
The railroad behind me is empty, and it could stay empty if a new rule from CARB becomes law. The California Air Resources Board passed a rule in 2023 that bans new diesel locomotives from being built after the year 2030. Starting that same year, only locomotives less than 23 years old will be allowed to be used. This all culminating in 2035, where the state will allow only zero-emissions locomotives to hit the rails for freight travel. Those advocating for the rule change say that these locomotives have been bad for air quality for far too long.
Generally, people of color, lower income households in California, they have a higher level of exposure to concentrations of air toxics.
Eyewitness News reached out multiple times to the California Air Resources Board without return for comment to discuss the rule it passed. Bruce Mitchell, who works as a researcher for the National Community Reinvestment Coalition, gave us perspective of the history of poor air quality communities of color have experienced for generations in the Central Valley. Even as technology has grown greener, the Central Valley is still living with polluted air. Mitchell gave us examples of the toxins and their effects.
PM 2.5, nitrogen dioxide emissions, both in the long and in the short term. And that breathing unhealthy levels of PM 2.5 at least a variety of health problems, including heart disease and asthma.
But taking these guys off the railways could be bad for Kern County's economy and for desert communities' economies as well.
Imagine the chaos that would ensue if we allowed 50 different states to enact 50 different requirements on locomotives.
Congressman Jay Obernolte represents California City here in Kern County and several high desert communities all the way up to the Nevada border. One of his district's biggest industries is rail. The Republican representative pointing out on Capitol Hill that locomotives required to meet the rules guidelines simply do not exist.
A diesel locomotive has the equivalent of about 100 megawatt hours of energy. The best all-electric locomotives that we have now that are in testing are around the order of 5 to 8 megawatt hours. So we're not even close to even having a locomotive available that will meet that rule.
President Joe Biden's EPA administrator, Michael Regan, has not indicated whether or not he would support the rule, even after questioning from Obernolte.
All of the issues that you've raised, we're hearing as well. I'll have my team follow up with you.
The indecisiveness of the EPA could have major consequences for railroads and their workers alike. A project in Barstow that could have impacts on Kern County and desert communities could come to a screeching halt.
The Barstow International Gateway will move containers from the ports of Los Angeles and LA to the facility via rail.
The project, known simply as BIG, is a $1.5 billion investment in Barstow. The project would be a hub for freight shipping for locomotives heading across the country and bring jobs to Kern, Los Angeles, and San Bernardino counties, all the while removing congestion on freeways, improving driving conditions, and reducing emissions from freight trucks on the highway.
This facility will generate about 20,000 direct and indirect jobs, improves the efficiency of goods moving in and out of the ports and in California in general with this new concept. It's something that's transformative. It's not been done in the country before, and certainly we believe is really setting a new standard on how to move goods in and out of California and across the nation.
Kent confirming Obernolte's concern of electric freight locomotives. The technology simply is not there. Kent says BNSF ran tests including using an electric locomotive between Stockton and Barstow.
The battery was not sufficient in order to get us to Barstow. So certainly there's a lot of challenges associated with zero-emission technology locomotives. We're investing in it, but the reality is they're just not yet commercially viable.
If the rule does become law, that BNSF hub will become a thing of the past, much like these locomotives. Reporting in downtown Bakersfield, Will Silverstein, Eyewitness News.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Murcia with Eyewitness News Bakersfield Now on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel where we have tons of great content to choose from. While you're here, go ahead and click on the subscribe button right there. That way you can stay up to date on all the things related within Kern County. Thanks for watching.